Jesus coming back, yeah. Jesus coming in on every side, and Jesus cleaning house. Oh, Jesus cleaning house.
Seeking a thread on a roll. I want to get back to a series I started. It's sort of a cheap heat series, like El Bicho Feo, Dave Wayne, who's really the master. But this is my version of it. 11 original pressings under $30. This is the jazz edition. Obviously one that should generate some interest because jazz is the shit right now. Yeah, everybody's looking for jazz records, and so am I. So these are all under 30 and many under 10, under 5. You're listening to certainly one that's under 5, a record that goes out there. This guy's incredibly square, but not on Horizons. You should be able to find this for $5 and clean. This is a mono. Yeah, coming out of the sort of traditional jazz sort of, background. Ira Sullivan plays, as you can see, soprano sax, but all kinds of woodwinds on this record. They do Norwegian wood, apparently, which we'll hear next. I believe is what we're listening to. A lot of these players aren't really known, but this one, I'm telling you, or at least they're not known. They're not like sort of, free players or anything. But this one does get out there, and so you'll hear some of this. It's kind of snapping right now, but it's called Horizons. It's from 1967 on Atlantic Records. This one, you should, like I said, $5 all day long. You've probably seen it out there. It's kind of scorchy. So that's number 1. Let's go to a record. This artist will weigh in a few times here. An ECM. Of course, I have to throw some ECMs into this, but I tried not to do all ECM. This is my favorite Codona record, Codona 3. Nana Vasconcelos, Don Cherry, and Colin Walcott, of course. The last one, 1983, before Colin Walcott died. A wonderful record, sort of Cherry at his masterful, self. Improvised music coming into play here. But just done in that sort of very patient, relaxed atmosphere. Cherry doing, of course, trumpet and the Dusu Ngoni that he played throughout the 70s. Vocals as well. They're all doing vocals. Colin Walcott is contributing most of the sort of eastern side of things, the tabla, sanza, dulcimer, and Vasconcelos percussion. So this is Codona 3 ECM. Not a hard one to find. About $15 album. May have gone up a little bit, but you shouldn't have a hard time finding this. This is like kind of record you'll find in like any shop, like the Bop Shop here. That has like a deep jazz section. They're probably sitting on copies of this. Codona 3, a digital recording, a promo stamp, 1983. This is one I got in Rochester with Dave, and again another one you should see. And this is around the $8 10 record. Zawinul, Joe Zawinul's, I believe it's his first album as a band leader. From 1971 on Atlantic. Wham! Yeah, the lineup on this, insane. Zawinul and Hancock, George Davis, Woody Shaw trumpet, Earl Turbington soprano, Miroslav Vitus and Walter Booker on basses, Joe Chambers, Billy Hart, and David Lee percussion. I mean, that is top notch. That is top tier. I believe this is a white label promo. So, but this was still $10 and in nice shape. Music for 2 electric pianos, flute, trumpet, soprano, 2 contrabasses, and percussion. Atlantic Records, another Atlantic record. All composed, I believe these are all composed by Zawinul, and yeah, his version of In a Silent Way, which he wrote. So I highly recommend you seeking this one out. Like I said, around a $10 album, Zawinul, 1971. Another ECM, John Surman, Upon Reflection, British saxophonist. This is again from the early 80s, I think it is. I mean, listen to Ira Sullivan. He's getting out there. He's not square dudes. From 1979. Surman, Yeah, this is all Surman. This is why I love this one. It's a solo sort of effort. It's a solo sort of symphony, you could call it. Soprano and bari sax, bass clarinet, synthesizers, and that's what's cool about this. It does have this sort of cold, sort of wintry. He's got the other record with Karen Krog, which Chris Cole certainly recommended, that is similar to this, similar atmosphere, similar texture. But this one has got that sort of like atmospheric spaciousness that Surman was delivering at this time. This one I think may have gone up a little bit in price, but it should be around the $20 range, I think, on ECM. Norwegian wood. Here's another cheap one. This one's legendary. This next one almost for everyone knows this is a cheap record, but we'll throw it out there anyway. Sonny Fortune, right around the same time as his Strata session for A&M Records, Awakening, or actually it's Horizon on the A&M label. But you have Charles Sullivan, trumpet, Kenny Barron, piano, John Hicks also on piano, Wayne Dockery, bass, Reggie Workman as well on bass, Billy Hart, and Chip Lyles on drums. This was at Record Archive, $275. It says on the label. I think I paid like $5 for it. Maybe it was $275. But they do Namo, Jamie Merritt's Namo. Awakening was probably the most out there cut, written by Sonny Fortune. He's playing just alto on this. Yeah, just alto mainly. Oh, flutes, and yeah, lots of percussion. Just Sonny. I mean, if you're looking for that Strata East session record, you should absolutely get this all day long for $5. It's really, it's wonderful, I shall say. So, Sonny Fortune, The Awakening. I think it's from '75. There we go. Next up, this is a weird one. This was a $10 album at Angry Mom. Probably ended up being less for me, but I think this will go for a little bit more, but it should be around the $20 range as well. This is Burton Green from his ESP days with a weird sort of free synth record. I don't know where this came from, but this is quite the cover. Here we have Burton Green, Bayard Lancaster from Philly, who, as you all know, is amazing. Also Steve Tintweiss and Shelley Rustin. And Burton Green is doing modular synths on this. There's not as much of that. There's some. It really plays more like a sort of not incredibly out there, but a free jazz album for sure. But it's on Columbia Records, which is sort of incredible. The year on this is probably 68, maybe 69. There's only one pressing of this. I don't believe it's been reissued. It's the Stereo 2i. Let's see if we can find that one. Again, you need to be adventurous. It is a free jazz, primarily free jazz record with that synthesizer, electronic sort of undercurrent that happens at times. Here we have, I know you might not think this registers so cheap, but it does. Penderecki and Don Cherry, the new Eternal Rhythm Orchestra. This is about 20, this might be close to 30. This is the original German pressing. There's a pressing with a different cover on Everest, which should be about $10 to $15. Wergo, actually, yeah. I think it's German. Yeah. Yeah, this is Don Cherry certainly going into outer space. At one point, it feels like he's launching into outer space. This doesn't have who's playing what here, does it? It's just it's the two long tracks. Don Cherry and the new Eternal Rhythm Orchestra. Hummus is a track, and we have Actions with the other Penderecki. Anyway, there's no insert on this. Anyway. A great one. Another great one in the realm of Don Cherry records from the late 70s. I think this is 77, just around the Brown Rice time. The Penderecki collab is, it goes out there. And like I said, even this German pressing you can find, but the Everest one, I definitely would say is the cheapest way to go on this. And this one, yeah, it blasts off. I was posting my Flying Dutchman records. I wanted to feature this one, Gato Barbieri, Under Fire. Not a completely amazing one, but from 1973, the first track is really where it scorches. It is El Piranha. It's on those Flying Dutchman labels. You have Air 2 on that one, Mtume on congas, Roy Haynes drums, Lonnie Liston Smith piano, Stanley Clarke bass, and Abercrombie on electric guitar, with Gato on sax, of course. And that same group, it's a great group, is on most of this after all the other tracks, but it's that first track I love the most. And the rest of it's solid too. Gotta love Flying Dutchman. So yeah, this one should be around $8. $8 holla. Maybe less, maybe a little more, $8 to $12. Trying to float through these. We'll get a few samples in. This is one my friend Adam at Anger Mom set aside with this note because he was telling me about this record, and he left this note for me. And this is a beautiful duo record, Jack Dejohnette and John Abercrombie Pictures. So it's under the Dejohnette name. 1977 on ECM. I don't recall, like, when he pulled this aside from me, I was like, oh wow, yeah, I don't recall seeing this all that often. And maybe for good reason, because it's great. You know what I mean? Another one where they're creating a whole band. They're multi-tracking, creating their own sort of orchestra in a sense. And there's some really cool moments. Everything's just a different picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. With just the duo, Dejohnette on drums and John Abercrombie on guitar. But Abercrombie does some weird multi-layering of guitars at times on this. So this is a really cool one, and I love a lot of patience and space in what they're doing. So yeah, this one is another one, maybe $10 to $15. This I got recently, like for, I think with the next record, this was like $8. Full Force Art Ensemble of Chicago on ECM as well, 1980. One that it just really crept up on me how much I liked it. I think this is one that you all should know, or if you don't know, you've seen it around. So it's got all the big players: Lester Bowie, Joseph Jarman, Roscoe Mitchell, Malachi Favors, Famadou Donmoy, you know, and playing all kinds of different percussion, you know, different woodwinds, bringing the kitchen table to this. A real nice one. Full Force. And the last one, number 11 on this series, original pressings, 11 original pressings under $30, jazz. This is hardly a jazz record, and I know Stunty played this at one of his streams a while ago now. George Lewis, Chicago Slow Dance. This is about $25 to $30. It's on the Lovely Music label, and it's George Lewis with Douglas Ewart. They've collaborated on another record with both of their names on it, but this also features Richard Teitelbaum doing modular synths, and J.D. Perron doing a Nagaswaram, Barry sax and piccolo. This is a hard one to describe. It's hard to even call it a jazz record. The whole first side is mainly sort of like these clickety-clack percussion things that just somehow hooked me. And then it goes to sort of strange territories from there. I won't even really try to describe this one too much. We'll call it a left field. That's my favorite. We'll call it I won't quite say dub, but we'll call it experimental, minimal jazz. Yeah, it's a trip. It's definitely a trip. It's from '77 originally. George Lewis, Chicago Slow Dance. A lot of interesting records, George Lewis. I'm hoping to find more. So that's what I have. I wanted to do these a little quicker, and we did. 11 original pressings under $30, jazz edition. We'll have more of these, and tell me what you think of this. I hope some of you may probably have these for sure. Some of you will add these to your want list. You'll hopefully find them. I think for the price, the value is all that. It's pretty obvious, but these are ones you can probably come across in the wild if you are out poking around. Your local record store will probably have some of these sitting there right now. So that's what I got for you today. Hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned for more Seeking a Thread.